So the iPhone 18 Pro Max might finally be the phone that puts Apple back on top. But there's one problem. Samsung has already built a phone that's incredibly hard to beat. And when you actually compare these two, the answer isn't as obvious as you think. Let's start with performance, because this is where Apple has always had the advantage. The iPhone 18 Pro Max takes that even further with the new A20 Pro chip. It's faster and more efficient. But here's where Samsung fights back. The S26 Ultra isn't just trying to be fast, it's trying to replace more of your devices. With DeX, you get a desktop interface with real windows, a taskbar, and a cursor, something the iPhone still can't do. So the winner depends on what you care about. For pure performance, iPhone wins for sure. But for fully utilizing the performance to turn your phone into a productivity tool, Samsung still has the advantage. Next, battery. And this is interesting. Apple has come a long way with battery life over the years, and the 18 Pro Max should continue that trend with a bigger battery since the iPhone 17 Pro Max already outlasted the S26 Ultra. Apple is still likely ahead, but charging is where Samsung takes the win. The S26 Ultra's 60-watt charging can refill the phone much faster, while Apple's charging speed still can't match it. So the iPhone lasts longer. Samsung gets you back to 100% faster. Personally, I think battery life matters more than charging speed. Now, design is interesting, because both phones are going in completely different directions. The 18 Pro Max sits flat, so no more annoying wobble on the table compared to Samsung. And with Apple finally moving Face ID parts under the screen, the dynamic island is going to be 35% smaller, so the front looks cleaner than before. But Samsung still has the advantage when you actually hold the phone. The S26 Ultra is lighter and thinner, and that tiny punch hole still looks cleaner than Apple's dynamic island. In the end, design is subjective. But personally, I think Samsung wins here because it fixes the things you notice every day. Now the display is where things get interesting, because Apple actually has some big wins here. The iPhone 18 Pro Max gets a newer panel, higher brightness, and a new technology to reduce flicker. For some people, that could make a real difference. But Samsung still has something Apple doesn't. Its anti-reflective coating is much better than the iPhone's, making outdoor viewing easier. And the privacy display can hide your screen from people sitting next to you. That's something Apple can't compete with. So Apple wins the newer display hardware. Samsung wins the display experience. Now the big one, and this is where things get really close. The iPhone's biggest advantage is image quality. Low light, video, and selfies are where Apple still has the lead. The iPhone produces cleaner photos and smoother video, and the center stage camera gives you more flexibility with selfies. But the biggest camera upgrade might not be about taking brighter photos. It's about control. The iPhone 18 Pro Max is adding variable aperture, meaning it can adjust the lens opening depending on the shot. The S26 Ultra already has a very bright f1.4 aperture, but it's fixed. The iPhone can now stop down to f2.8 for deeper, sharper focus, something Samsung physically can't do. Samsung's answer is versatility. The S26 Ultra still has two dedicated telephoto cameras, while the iPhone relies on one. And there is one interesting rumor. Ice Universe claims Samsung could be adding a 6x periscope zoom. But the leaked camera logs suggest the telephoto hardware might actually stay unchanged. So for now, don't count on it. Samsung still wins zoom flexibility. It also has 8K recording and stronger AI editing tools. So this one is simple. iPhone takes better photos and videos. Samsung gives you more camera options. Now let's talk about the things only the iPhone can do. First, MagSafe is built directly into the phone, while the S26 Ultra still needs a case for the same experience. Face ID also remains one of Apple's biggest advantages because it uses dedicated hardware instead of just a camera. Apple is also fixing some complaints from last year. The camera control button is getting a redesign, replacing the touch and haptic system with pressure sensitivity, which should make it feel more natural to use. Then there are the durability advantages. Both phones are IP68, But the iPhone 18 Pro Max is rated for up to 6 meters of water, compared to Samsung's 1.5 meters. And Ceramic Shield gives Apple another edge against drops and scratches. And finally, the LiDAR scanner, and real console games that run natively on the phone. That's a lot of small advantages that add up, except one. Samsung's built-in stylus is still the thing that iPhone has never had a real answer to. If you write, sketch, or annotate, that alone can end the argument. Now let's talk about software. And this is where Samsung takes the lead. Apple gives you a smooth and polished experience, but Samsung gives you more control. One UI lets you change almost everything. The layout, the shortcuts, the way you multitask, even how your phone behaves. Split screen, pop-up windows, edge panel, and good lock turn the S26 Ultra into a phone you can actually build around yourself. And that's something the iPhone still doesn't really offer. So add it up. The iPhone 18 Pro Max is the better smartphone, but the S26 Ultra is a more capable one. And now you know exactly which one fits you. Oh, and if you don't know, Samsung is trying to beat the iPhone by making an iPhone. Click right here to check that out. This is Techtics, and I will see you there.